Hello, everyone.
Hello, friends.
Hello.
Hello, and welcome to the Freemasons podcast with your hosts, Right Worshipful Brother George Mudry.
Worshipful Brother Joe.
And worshipful brother Ken.
That's not me. Who did it?
Why do we
Who
always
did
do
it?
that?
That's me.
Damn it, George.
It was
Classic
me.
George.
Today's episode, we're going to be talking about, well, first off, we named this Whiskey Makes Me Frisky. I'll comment that.
Wyoming whiskey makes me frisky.
Yes.
Special time. No, we had one of our Discord members send us this nice little Wyoming whiskey. Worshipful Brother Steve, thank you very much. We'll be sampling it in a little bit on our first toast. Here.
Member of Discord.
Member of Discord, which you can also be a member of by joining Patreon for as little as $5 a month. You too can get exclusive access to Patreon content, our Discord channel, and the ever-elusive gold tone Freemasons podcast pin.
Bingo.
And you support us.
Yes. And
Please.
don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to us on YouTube.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
And review us if you can on any of the major podcast platforms out there. Apple iTunes, Stitcher. 5-star reviews are always appreciated, and they do help our search rankings and help us to reach a greater audience of brothers and interested parties, so we appreciate that.
Speak of which, Mr. Ken, because I know Joe is still on his timeout with Facebook.
It's not really a timeout. You're on like a permanent timeout, so you can't judge.
Yeah, it's more like a chosen timeout.
Yes.
What do you got? What do you got for like
Instagram likes?
We have gotten quite a few members or people asking to join the Freemasons podcast community in the last week or so. We've probably done about 20. So thank you all.
Thank you guys for keeping up with them, too. There's a lot of those coming in.
Is that the really nice smelling cologne, or is that the Wyoming whiskey?
It's me.
I'm just wearing deodorant. I'm not wearing cologne today.
No, it's not you.
Nah, it's not me.
That's not him. All right, so over on Instagram,
Oh, the douche da day over
see
there.
here, we've got Carson Shetrumpf, Virginia Lorenz, Bill Brandon, David Jostone, Andrew Colvin, Shane Lutmer, and Ronald Bryant. Thank you, friends and brothers.
Thank you, everybody.
Awesome. And for everybody who likes us on YouTube, let's see who I have. Joe, again, you're still on Facebook timeout.
By option, I've opted out of certain protocols that Facebook wants me to follow that I refuse to.
Awesome. Over on YouTube, we had, let's see here, what do we got? Big Country Gun Guy.
Oh,
Yes.
We know exactly
That's
what
a
he's
friggin'
about.
name.
sounds like a liberal to me.
Heath Waldo. You are tired, because I can tell you guys.
Tired. That's all right. You might get some good material out of me for once.
Heath Waldrop is another one. And John Donovan. I believe those are all of them.
I would go over to Facebook, but unfortunately, I locked myself out of my phone, so
Nice.
Oh,
can't do that right now.
Let's see here. And we're going to go over here to... Oh, well, first off, let's toast these brothers.
Yes.
And friends.
why don't you lead this one?
Me?
Yeah.
All right, I'll let you lead the next one because the Apple review is hysterical.
Oh, okay. Then you want me to take
Awesome.
this
No,
one?
no, 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 no.
Okay.
The next one is definitely on you. You'll,
right.
I'll read it, and then
Okay.
you'll understand.
Fair
Keep a
enough.
straight face. It'll be great. It'll be like a game.
Brethren, right hand to arms.
To arms.
Ready.
Ready.
Aim.
Aim.
Fire. Good fire. Fire all. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Together, brothers.
Vivat, vivat, vivat.
That is good.
That
That
has
was
like a
nice.
very, it's got like a sweet tone to it that I enjoy, but it's not overpowering. It's not like that peanut butter whiskey stuff.
Pass that down. Oh, I
Wow.
eat peanut butter, so you're not going to get any complaints. You're not going to get any bitching out of me.
So thank you for the whiskey, brother.
Yes.
It's,
Yes, absolutely.
I think I found a new favorite.
Is it? See, it's making you frisky.
It is.
As advertised.
As was presaged by our title.
It's got your CPUs processing at a really high rate right now.
Yeah.
Apple review.
Apple review.
We ready for this one, boys?
I am.
It is what it is. 5-star review
Well, okay.
from a Born to Loser Hythman Blues.
All right, let me pull this up because I need to spot
Where
check
you
this.
seeing that?
Born to Loser
HYT
Man Blues.
Hythman Blues. And he writes, I'm only here because Puppet George told me I have
Boy,
to be.
it's born to lose rhythm and blues. I'm guessing.
Oh, yep.
You put the TH in the wrong spot. Born to lose, rhythm and blues.
Born to lose. Oh, there you go. Born to lose rhythm. Yep, that one.
Rhythm and blues.
And he writes, I'm only here because Puppet George told me I have to be.
Thanks, buddy.
That's it? That's the whole review?
That's the whole review, yeah. That's great. But it's 5 stars. We'll take it.
Awesome.
Oh, that's hilarious. Joe, you are the father of Puppet George.
Yes.
Have at it.
Brothers! Right into arms!
To arms.
Ready!
Ready. Aim.
Fire, good fire, fire all! It's hard to do the voice and drink whiskey.
Together, bitches.
Together, bitches!
Vivat, vivat, vivat. Epic.
Well, like you got to inhale a lot to do, and then it just.
Yeah, your voice is like breaking too. Man, you really did a number on yourself today. You are burnt.
I did. I wore myself out today. 10 miles this morning.
Jesus. Good for you. Better
Making
you
us
than
all
me.
look bad.
Better you than me.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
Diego Angelos, good day, brother, and greetings from Baja, Mexico. Hey! Viva la Mexico.
Welcome. Yeah, it's a little toasty down there right now, I'm sure.
It's going to suck next week up here, too, from what I understand.
Some great lucha libre down there.
Oh, hell yeah.
We need a Mexican flag.
We do.
Definitely do.
That's a good
We need to
point.
rearrange the ones that are up here now, too,
Yeah, we
because
can
we're going to
do
have to fit some more, I think.
We could fit at least 2 more now.
I
Go
have,
vertical
figure
with
it out.
them or
We
something.
have a lot of decoration to do because we have the Icelandic flag over there. Yes, if you're listening from Iceland, we have your flag. Just shout out and say, hey, I'm from Iceland. Hang the damn flag, douche.
I don't know how to say thank you in Icelandic because, your language is incomprehensible, but thank you.
Although, if
But
you
we
ever-
could go like something close like German, like Dankeschön.
Yeah, there you
do you remember
Dankeschön.
when that volcano went off in Iceland and they tried to pronounce the name of the volcano on the news?
Yeah, and they just kind of
Freaking
abbreviated it. Yeah.
Hilarious. The news agency screwed it up every single time.
Yep.
The only thing I can
Hilarious.
say is Reykjavik.
Reykjavik,
Reykjavik.
It's like,
It's capital, right?
I don't know. I think the Olympics might have been there at some point.
Yeah, I
Or
recognize
something
that,
happened in Reykjavik.
that word from somewhere.
Yeah, it's the name of it. It's a town in or a city in Iceland. I just don't know how significant it is.
All right. So, topic today. Yes, I know it says Wyoming whiskey makes me frisky. That was a little comment that Joe made prior to that we all got a good laugh out
But
of.
it worked.
Yeah.
It did work. But our topic is Freemasonry and secrecy. And there's 2 things. I got a Twitter message from a Still Sugar Lips.
A tweet. Still sugarless?
Still Sugar Lips.
Oh, okay. So if there was any question whether or not they were still sugar lips, they're letting you know.
Apparently there
still.
was-
They're still.
There was
Still
some
sugar
concern
limit.
as
Okay.
to the nature of the
And
lips.
Harsh
he
winter?
and or she writes, my father was a Mason. He passed nearly 50 years ago, and I still burst with pride when I think of him. One thing I remember, he would never speak of his meetings and were forbidden from asking him any questions at all about them. Explain how to deal with families in secrecy. Ooh. Kenny,
Yes,
lead
sir.
it.
All right. Well, I mean, there's a couple reasons I think that historically Freemasonry has this perception of being secretive. We don't talk about certain aspects of our ritual, obviously. I mean, if you've listened to this podcast before, we've talked about this 1,000 times. And there's a lot of our ritual that is not secret. We do have semi-public ceremonies, including our installation of officers here in our jurisdiction under the Grand Lodge of Connecticut. And anybody can, well, it's semi-public in that you have to be invited, but still, like, you're a member of the public, you're not a Mason, and you can witness that ritual. There are aspects of our actual degrees, the first 3 degrees of Masonry, which are very much secret.
Right.
In fact, you swear as part of your obligation to never talk about it.
And I
So there are these small aspects of Masonry. I mean, you can visit an open house, you can tour a Masonic lodge. Again, this is jurisdictional, right? So I'm speaking
Right,
from
right.
Connecticut.
From what we know, yeah.
Yep. But you're in no jurisdiction around the world are you ever going to be invited in to witness a degree unless you're A, already a Mason, or B, part of that degree as a candidate. So that's thing number 1. People generally don't like things that they can't find accurate information about. When something's a secret, usually we ascribe our own opinions on what might be going on behind closed
Formulate
doors.
our own hypothesis,
Right.
if you will.
And I think the other thing was, the anti-Masonic movement, not just here in the United States, but elsewhere around the world, and the fact that the Catholic Church and some other organizations kind of frowned on Masonry at one point.
The Nazis didn't help us too much either.
Yeah, the Nazis definitely pushed Masonry underground, and I think that's, at least here in the United States, why you'll see a lot of Masons from that generation not talk about it.
Correct.
Because, they saw firsthand what happened. And they were better off just saying, you know what? My affiliation with this fraternity is my own business. It's nobody else's, and I'm okay keeping it secret and just not telling anybody or wearing a ring or, putting something on the back of my car. And that's fine. In this day and age, we live in a slightly different society where we as proud Masons feel comfortable, showing our affiliation with the fraternity. So I think that's kind of the historical background of why we're perceived as being secret.
Joey,
Yes.
you're up.
All right. So I think there's, kind of what Ken was saying and what you were saying is there's certain things that are secret, but there's certain things that aren't. But different times, some of the old timers, as Right Worshipful Brother Josh Mantello noted here, some of the old timers took that secrecy to a different level. For whatever reason, could be tradition, could just be that's what they felt was right. But we have often said, on this podcast, and it's kind of cliche, you'll hear it everywhere, that we're not a secret society. We are a society with secrets. So, there's not much other than ritual work. There's not much that I keep secret about it if I'm asked by friends or family, because it's okay. Like we meet second Wednesday. I mean, we have signs out that say when we meet. There's probably ads in newspapers. There's
websites with our membership list, our officers on it.
Exactly. Like if you were to Google my cell phone number, it's going to come back to me as a Grand Lodge contact and has my cell phone number in there. So it's really not a secret. I think, for your grandfather's generation, there definitely was more to it, which unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you feel about it, maybe you missed out on some experience or missed out on being able to talk to them about it. However, the curiosity may spark your own journey and for you to do your own research, which maybe that's what he intended for you.
Yeah, good point. Because it does it forces you to ask questions if you want to know more, and if you ask questions, that's how you become a Mason. We don't recruit. So yeah, it's a good point.
I also think that, at least my opinion of this, is that the secrecy gets tougher outside of the United States of America, and I think it's kind of all the things that Ken was you were said, whereas in regards to the Nazis and the Catholic Church, which is more prevalent or tougher back over in Europe. I think the United States is kind of a little bit more laxed on what we put out there.
And that could be like what you're alluding to is we have more freedoms. We don't fear being persecuted for like in other countries that history has done that. Exactly.
Realistically, if you think about it, we had the anti-Masonic Party, which was a political party in the United States. But other than that, Masons really haven't been persecuted at all.
Not to the extent that they were.
Not to the extent they were, in other countries.
Sure.
So I think that the secrecy value of it is probably a little bit more so in other countries. For instance, I went to, and again, this is me part of my genealogy thing when I was looking into my family and everything. I went onto the Grand Lodge of Slovakia, which is where my family's. No, Joe, somebody's pulling on a headphone.
That's just the monitor. It's okay.
What was I going to say? So I went my genealogy thing. I was looking into the Grand Lodge of Slovakia just to find out if any of my family members were part of the Grand Lodge of Slovakia. And I brought up the website, Grand Lodge of Slovakia, and bam! It was just the memento mori and one little thing. We're here. And you just click
That's awesome.
And it was in a language I couldn't understand, right? So obviously it was in Slovak.
Yeah.
But that was it. It was literally just a memento mori. There was no Grand Master with his face up there in Connecticut Freemasons.
And press releases.
And all that. There was nothing. There was literally just the memento mori, and that was it. It just goes to show you the difference between United States Masonry in other countries. Other countries I think are much more close-lipped.
Yeah, culture definitely.
I think culture
influences
plays a major factor in it, and I mean, not for nothing. How long has it been since World War II when the Nazis were persecuting Freemasons?
A bit.
It's been a minute, but still
60, 70 years.
there are still
roughly?
people around that
I don't know.
remember
I'm
that.
terrible with math.
Probably somewhere around
I have
there.
my shoes on, so I can't count over
Closer
to 20.
70. 'Cause
70 years.
My grandfather would have been in his 90s, and he probably went when he was 18.
Think about it, though. Like, 70 years is not far removed from today's generation. So, I mean, realistically,
there were kids alive.
if the Nazis were locking up Freemasons for just being Freemasons and
Right.
part of because they were afraid that they were going to overthrow the Reich or whatever the case may be, that's only 70 years ago. So Masons today are going to be like, yeah, no, we're not.
Yeah, it's one generation at max, right? Like there were
Right.
children that were, alive at that point and experienced some of this stuff, and it might have been formative to them. And also, I mean, it's a one generation gap, so their parents probably told a bunch of people alive today what happened, and people from my parents' generation remember that.
Right.
So.
I guess in regards to my own family and my own experience, like, am I secretive with my family? I mean, not for nothing. My family doesn't really give a shit. In a sense, like they're not like, "Hey, what'd you do?" Like, "Well, what did you do today?" Like, "Oh, we had an entered apprentice degree," but it's never been asked like, "Well, what did you do?" Like my kids or whoever has never said to me like, "Well, what did you do?" Like, did you beat up a dude or?
Well, their perception is probably different too. Like they're used to you being a Mason, and they don't have that kind of like false information that's coloring their view.
I think
on
my son at one
eternity.
point asked me, like, what do you guys do during your meetings? And I said, when you become of age, you can find out. But if you want, here's the mole. You can kind of get it. I mean, yes, the mole isn't Freemasonry, but it's
at that age, it's about as close as you can get.
It's about as close as you can get, right? And it's got the same lessons and principles and this, that, and the other thing. So I said, you join D-Mole, and my son was like, nah, I want to play baseball.
Yeah, and you can see what the camaraderie is all about, right? Like that brotherhood aspect. I think you can at least understand that if you're a D-Mole.
And on top of that, like, I know my son's only like, what, 13, 14? 13. I got it, yes.
Yeah, we'll edit
He
that
was
out.
13. My son's 13, right? A 13-year-old doesn't give a damn what dad is doing. Not that what dad is doing, but he doesn't care about. Oh, we're pulling on those headphones again because I'm losing it.
I think that's just the monitor. I think our stream is okay.
It's the headphone. It's that connector we have underneath there.
Yeah, but we're still in stereo in the stream. So
Yeah, we're good. Sorry. But my son, 13-year-old, he doesn't care about secret societies or fraternities. My hope is when eventually I take the dirt nap, or even maybe before, when he gets of age, when I finally, when I'm, pushing up daisies, my son will go through all my Masonic stuff and be like, what the hell is that up to? Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean...
It's my sons, I want to be clear, because my two younger ones are 5 and 4. Like, well, they're...
It's going to take them a while before they...
Yeah, they're not going to have an idea. But
interested.
I imagine when my sons are 5 and 4, and again, when I die at 65, eventually they'll...
At 65? Wow, you have a really low opinion of your...
I don't know. A long time ago...
I think he's out kicking his coverage on 65.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, he'll be amazed when he makes it over 65.
So
Actually, true story, and this is a joke that I've held a long time ago. I took one of those Facebook things that was like, "When will you die?" Right? Those what are they called?
God.
The quiz notes or whatever the hell they're
yeah.
called. The quiz notes, I think it was, and it was like, "When will you die?" And I clicked, and it said 65. I'm like,
I beat the spread.
yeah. I mean, I guess I don't have to worry about retirement or putting anything in my 401k,
exactly.
right? I
That
mean,
means you're going to be working the rest of your life.
Yeah.
I'll probably die at work.
Well, then
Probably.
that'll leave something nice for the kids.
Exactly. Maybe it's on the clock. That'd be even better.
Yeah, so my family, I've never hid it from my family. My extended family isn't as interested in my affiliation with the fraternity as maybe yours is. Maybe they don't know as much, but I've never hidden it, right? Like I've worn
I've never hidden it either.
lodge T-shirts and stuff like that to family events, and
yeah.
once in a while somebody will be like, "Oh, hey, you're a Mason."
Yeah.
But
I
I've never
took my daughter to the the passing out a car. Holy shit!
Passing out in a car. That's
Morning
a
Star.
fun
You hear
event.
that? You're donating cars now. The bike raffle that we do, which is free, whatever. I brought my daughter there to do community service. Rafferty signed off on everything. She's been there. Like, she knows that we do community stuff, but she's never really been like, hey, like, what are you doing behind closed doors? Like.
Right. She's been up here for the podcast.
She
knows what happens with that.
Yeah, I mean, she's heard us talk about it. Like,
Yeah, it's a generational thing, I think, too, because maybe kids today just don't really. They're not as well. I'm not going to say they're not as curious. Clearly, they're just as curious as kids were in previous generations, but they just don't. You know, they're not worried about things they don't necessarily understand.
and realistically, again,
Yeah, they're more worried about TikTok.
We're benign too, right? So it's not like Dad comes home from a Mason meeting, right?
Yeah, with blood on your sword or something.
I was to say, like, blood all on the front of my tuxedo, like
all over the kitchen table.
Yeah, I know. Like, I gotta wash up real quick. Dad, what in the what the f are you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
That would change things. Yeah.
that probably would, yeah. But again, I come home the same way I leave. Like, I'm in a tuxedo or I'm in a suit, and that's it. I come home, usually wiped out. I can't wait to kick my damn shoes off because I have the Coraframs, which hurt like hell.
Well, I mean, yeah. Even if you have expensive tuxedo shoes, those patent leathers, man, they will.
That's what I
injure
got.
you.
Who the hell screw you, Red? Oh, you.
No.
I'm looking at the comments.
Yeah, that's what you get for interacting
Well,
with the audience.
Greg
there,
was
buddy.
here first, so that's why I said he was my favorite.
What about you, Joe?
I already answered.
You did?
Yeah, I remember.
No.
What about your family?
About your family?
Yeah, it's all out.
They
in
don't
the
care.
open.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all on. Yeah. I mean, granted, obviously, what can be out in the open are obligations and everything, but and part of that is just take the degrees and find out. You know, when you become of age, like my sons or whatever, like, come of age, find out what Dad was used to doing. You know,
Some people just kind of want to taste, though, right? They want to like see from the outside what an organization is like before they get involved in it. And I can totally understand
but
that.
that's not taking it. That's not a taste, though. That's just kind of that's like that's like
seeing
going to the pet store and looking at the puppies and
right.
waving.
It's like reading.
You don't know if
the
the puppies are freaking like rip your face off type of. You know what I mean?
Puppies don't do that.
It's like reading an executive summary, right?
Puppies
You're
don't.
getting the PR version of Freemasonry,
Right.
unless you're actually going through the degrees, and it's something that you really can't communicate to other people.
I made the reference to the restaurants. You're like, oh, I wonder what that restaurant. I wonder what the food tastes like in there.
Yeah,
you don't
you
know
don't know.
until you
Go
actually
eat.
go in there. Go eat.
Go in and eat.
Manja. You know.
Yeah, good point. I mean, Freemasonry is a commitment, right? So you
Right.
do want to make sure that even if you're going and petitioning a lodge and stuff, that you know what it's about, like you
Right.
know the basics. And any brother that is talking to you about Freemasonry is going to make you, you know, well aware of what the responsibilities of being a Mason are.
Right.
Yeah.
So I hope that answered your question. Still sugar lips.
And I hope you are still Sugar Lips.
I hope so. It reminds me of Hot Lips from MASH. Wasn't that
I think, Hot Lips is a character on MASH for sure. Yeah.
Hot Lips
So-
Houlihan, I think. Or
Yeah,
something like that.
yes. Yep.
In addition to that, I have an article here from Time Magazine, and this was written in 2020, August 13th, 2020.
Vintage.
And the title of this from Time Magazine is what Freemasons taught the world about power and secrecy. It's from Time Magazine, so this should be interesting.
Well, yeah. So it's,
And this was written by a John Dickey.
I don't know who that is.
Well, we'll find out if his last name rings true. Freemasonry is the world's most famous secret society. I wouldn't say famous, but okay, whatever. Its secrecy indeed made it into one of history's most contagious ideas, and thus its history offers a striking lesson in the power of mystery.
Fair.
Freemasons traced their foundation to London in 1717. We can debate that all day long.
Yeah,
'Cause
that's fine. I mean, they're giving like the again the press
That was
release
Thunder
summary.
Lips.
Thunder Lips.
Somebody asked,
Oh,
was Sugar
right,
Lips the
MASH.
name of the
Oh.
wrestler in Rocky?
Thunder Lips.
There was
Oh,
Thunder
that's
Lips.
right.
That was
Yeah.
Hulk, that was Hulk Hogan too.
Yep.
Yeah, so we've got...
Who I will always refer to Hollywood Hulk Hogan because that was his best time he was ever. Whatever. Anyway, continuing on. The craft, as a member calls it, was based upon a fraternal bond created by ritual and symbol. Its rules prescribed a formal equality between all members, whatever their race, creed, or class. Fair. The aim was moral education, build better men, just as the stonemasons of old had built cathedrals and castles.
Accurate.
Crucially, however, all of this was to be conducted in seclusion from the outside world and involved learning secrets and swearing to keep them.
Yeah,
I don't know why
good.
crucially was added, but
I prefer the profane world.
Yeah, it's a good summary
okay.
so far.
whatever secrets the Masons were guarding, they made for a bewitching recruitment tool. We don't recruit,
Right.
Dickie.
Well, yeah.
No, but it might
Catch up, Dickie. We
It may
don't
not. It may
recruit.
be more of a passive recruiting tool,
Right.
where hey, we're not going to tell you. You got to join to find out. Okay.
Who could resist the promise to join an elite in possession of occult truths? Here we go. Dickie's already starting to piss me off. Within a couple of decades, the mystique of Freemasonry made it a worldwide phenomenon. There were lodges everywhere from Amsterdam to Aleppo, from Charleston to Calcutta. The craft spread into the currents of the earlier era of globalization, empire and commerce, warfare and intellectual exchange.
Yeah.
Its founders quickly discovered that they could not control their creation. Within the group, Masons disagreed passionately about arcane rites and procedures. This is true. More so true in Europe prior to Albert Pike. Albert Pike was the one who formed the Scottish Rite? He's the founding father of the Scottish Rite.
That I don't know, but I do know that there was obviously a lot of contention between the two Grand Lodges of England very early on.
Well, you also had a lot of rites that were scattered, and that's where Ordo Abkeo comes from.
Yep.
And that was basically, I believe, Albert Pike who jumbled it into the Scottish Rite. Correct? Because I think there was one in France, there was one in Germany, there was different rites of Freemasonry. So, okay, I mean, whatever.
I think there was some consolidation.
I will give
Yeah.
due diligence to that comment.
Well, also back then you got to understand that there was no internet, there was no
Right.
light speed communication, so it's like, of course, you're going to have kind of different interpretations of the ritual, region by region, even within Europe. So it made sense that happened. But yeah, over time it got kind of consolidated and
They also-
standardized.
Yeah, I think so. They also fissured on issues of race and gender. This is true. Were women worthy of admit? I mean, I think that's kind of our issue, even modern
I think it's
time.
painting it in a poor light. It's not.
It is painting it
it's
in a
not
poor
whether
light.
they're worthy or not. It's just
Yeah,
it's the
worthy.
nature of the fraternity.
Get rid of worthy.
Right, yeah.
That's not what it is. It
Our
was
ritual is
tradition.
based on being a man.
Right. And realistically, if the stonemasons were men back in the medieval times or back in these times, like
Correct. Right, wrong, or
it's
indifferent.
tradition.
Right.
It's not worthiness. It's not like women or black people are not worthy. It's in a real. I don't even know how the black thing came in there, but whatever. We'll continue, Dickie.
Ooh,
we're-
all sauced up.
I am getting pissed off because he's not painting us in a good light. He's making us look like a bunch of douche canoes.
I mean, I have read worse articles about Freemasonry, but yeah, this one's.
Were women worthy to be admitted into the great mysteries? Were Jews or black people? Were Jewish or black people? Oh, okay. Read that wrong. Were women worthy to be admitted to the great mysteries? Question mark. Were Jewish or black people? Question mark. Externally, the Masonic brand was borrowed and bastardized. Oh, here we go.
Oh,
You're a bastard, Dickie. If you had a secret, then organizing yourself like the Freemasons seemed a good way to keep it.
Right.
Groups as varied as the Ku Klux Klan, I hate when they frickin' do this. They bring in hate groups into a Masonic discussion. We are not a frickin' hate group. Keep that shit separate. Moving on, Dickie.
unfortunately, the hierarchy of some of these groups may have been. I
Boy,
mean, we're
his-
the oldest fraternity in the world, so of
His
course
last name is
people
holding
know.
true, isn't it?
So far,
It's holding true so far.
But I mean, even like Skull and Bones in New Haven,
Modeled off of Masonry.
right? Because it's just the oldest organization. It's easy to borrow from how we organize ourselves and our ritual and so forth.
Right. Groups as varied as the Ku Klux Klan to conceal the identity of white supremacist terrorists, and Sicilian mafia crime, and the Mormon Church bigamy. Jesus,
Wow,
he's taking some hard shots.
this guy doesn't like many organizations,
all
does he?
incorporated
An
the
anarchist.
all incorporated the
Good ass.
furtive strands of the Masonic DNA. Let's talk about this quickly.
Yeah.
Ku Klux Klan was not modeled off of Freemasonry. If anything, the Ku Klux Klan was modeled off of the Knights of the Golden
Circle.
Circle.
which was kind
Which
of
was
probably
modeled
based
off of
Freemasonry.
Masonry.
Yeah.
Okay, so
there.
Dickie,
you could trace
do your
some-
job. You could trace it, but make sure you make it so it's not like the Ku Klux Klan traced it immediately from Freemasonry, because that's not
Or
100%
that a bunch
accurate.
of Freemasons started the Ku Klux Klan or some other nonsense.
It's more like that, like
The Sicilian
that
Mafia.
adopted step cousin kind of deal.
We did an episode on the Mafia. The Freemasonry
Yeah,
and the
the-
Omerta, or whatever we called
Yeah,
it.
and P1
yeah,
and-
I mean, there's a lot of similarities there. But understand, we're also the world's oldest fraternity, so even things that are benign and malevolent are going to be modeled off of something that already has...
Right. If you're going to go
A
out
foundation.
if you're going to go out and create
Dickie.
an organization, you're probably going to model yourself off of something. If I were to go start a baseball league for kids, I'd probably take something from Little League and make it similar.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that there's any connection other than, it's working for them. Let me see if it
But
works
that's
for me.
what he's
Right,
doing.
exactly.
He's making a connection where there's like, come on now, give me a break.
Well,
anyway,
yeah, and the style, the tone of the article kind of...
Time Magazine,
100%
shame
agree
on
with it.
you. Shame
It's
on
Time
you.
Magazine.
It's
though. What
Time
do you
Magazine.
Yeah,
expect
do we
anything
really
different?
care what they think?
Perhaps unsurprisingly, suspicion has followed the brothers every step, thanks to articles like this. I said that. The Pope excommunicated them very early on, seeing them as covert heretics. We're not frickin' heretics. I wore a shirt, and I do believe that y'all need Jesus.
Especially Randy here, or whatever his name is.
Any Catholics who joins the Masons has still put his soul in peril. Oh, now, hold on. Stop right
Is
there.
that Dickie saying that, or is he quoting
Dickie.
something?
That's Dickie.
I don't know. I don't trust your reading skills sometimes. Go back and
Yeah,
read it
is
back.
it in quotes?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It just says who joins. It says here, the Pope excommunicated them very early on. There's no quotes here. Seeing them as covert heretics, semicolon. Any Catholic who joins the Masons is still putting his soul in peril, according to the Vatican.
Yeah, according to the Vatican.
Right.
Not according to Dickie. He's just reiterating what
What's currently on file?
the Vatican's saying. Yeah, Dickie's being somewhat
Journalism,
impartial.
I hate it.
Well, it's because you can't.
If you're
understand
going to do a journalistic piece, put some freaking truth in it. Or
Well-
do your goddamn homework rather than an op-ed.
You know,
because that's what this is to me, an op-ed.
Well, in this guy's defense,
Dickie.
well, yeah, as soon as you start putting opinion in there, it's op-ed. But I mean, in this guy's defense, the beginning of the article is a pretty good summary of Freemasonry. Like, I don't disagree with a lot of it. I disagree with some of the tone and some of the implicit links that he's.
Here's the thing, though. Talk to a
Creating.
goddamn Freemason. Subscribe to
But
the
they're
podcast.
secret. They won't
hear
tell
what
you.
you hear what the fuck we're up here talking.
Why don't we have Raph invite Dickie onto the
That's what I
podcast?
was gonna say. Maybe he'll write a follow-up based on his
Yeah.
conversation.
Come
with
on,
us.
Dickie.
Yeah.
No, because his comment's going to be like, there was a ginger, a robot, and a midget.
Hey,
Yeah, this is the face of
wouldn't be the first time we
fraternity,
had a Dickie on this podcast. Let me tell you, we've had several.
In the aftermath of the French Revolution, the refugee priest in London by name of Abbé Borel wrote memoirs illustrating the history of Jacobinism. And I want to stop right there.
Oh, boy, you're pounding on the table again.
It's
Sorry.
Jacobism.
Jacobism is not Freemasonry.
No.
Neither is Jesuits. They are not Freemasonry. Guess what? Your Pope right now?
My Pope?
The
If
Pope?
you're Pope, you're Pope.
I'm
too.
Methodist. We don't do the whole hierarchy crap. Yeah, Methodist. That's a Christian.
Yeah.
Look it
Yeah.
up.
No, we know.
Hashtag look it up.
Okay.
I meant for the haters.
Oh, okay.
But the Pope is a Jesuit,
Yes.
which is a secret society.
No. It's
Well, it's a
Not really.
subset. No, it's like a group within the Catholic Church, I guess. If you had to,
You're no
make it
better than
generic.
Dickie. Spewing propaganda and
I'm
misinformation.
not screwed.
Jesuits aren't a secret society.
I thought they were.
No, it's
they're
just a
like an
sect, man.
offshoot, and it's like a sect of the Catholic Church
Yep.
that focuses on education.
Then I redact my comment. Like Dickie should have this article.
See, we're adults here.
A 5-volume analysis of the revolutions caused the blaming on everything of an eagle scheme hatched within lodges. How to address this one?
Say that again.
It says,
It's not computing.
this book, Memoirs Illustrating the History of Jacobinism.
Jacobism.
No.
Jacobinism?
Jacobinism. Thank you, Joe.
No, yeah,
You're
Joe
welcome.
was right.
Both wrong.
Thanks.
Even a computer could be wrong sometimes, apparently.
Yeah.
A 5-volume analysis of the revolution's causes that blamed everything on an evil scheme hatched within the lodges.
We're talking about the American Revolution here?
No. French Revolution.
Okay.
There might be
So-
some truth to that.
Let me just go by as saying this. It is not the first time that Freemasonry has caused revolutions in countries, because Freemasonry
Well,
believes
caused is a strong term. We should probably unpack it a little bit. Because it's not like Freemasons get together and say, some Grand Master is like, all right, we're going to foment
No. I meant
revolution now.
Okay,
Like,
so it's not organized.
Right.
It's not organized revolution, but there are Freemasons within lodges that say, "Yeah, hell with this. This ain't right."
and surprise, we talk to each other.
Garibaldi being one,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the Sons of Liberty being Masons 2,
Yeah.
French Revolution 3. They were Masons.
Right, but they got
Even-
together and they all talked to each other on the level because they're Masons.
Even Napoleon Bonaparte was a
Bonaparte?
Mason.
Bonaparte.
Bonaparte.
Jean Louis.
Jean-Louis.
I don't know if he's a Mason. I don't think he is.
No, but so do Masons get involved in when people's civil liberties and freedoms are being persecuted? Yes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes,
So
because-
that I will say yes. So if you want to go back to the whole Freemasonry and secretism, yes.
Right, but
That's
are we-
reason why we would be secretive.
Right, but are we trying to re-architect the world or world governments?
Not
see-
now.
I
not
see it
now.
more as
Back
a-
in the day, yes.
I don't know that we were
No.
plotting to do it. I think see it more as a facilitation. Hey, you guys want to do this, and we believe in free thought. We believe in your liberties. Perhaps we can help you in a way without.
Yeah.
But I think it was more a facilitation or enhancement of a thought or a movement that was already out there. And so,
Right.
yeah, you know what? This coincides with what we believe we might be able to help you on.
And you had a higher percentage of men who were Masons back then, too. So, I
Correct.
mean, when you have a group of people that are getting together and fomenting revolution, it's a high probability that a bunch of them are going to be Masons. It doesn't mean that Freemasonry is influencing the world. It just means, correlation does not always prove causality. That's my only
Now,
little
could there have been
skepticism.
members of these revolutions that were Masons and relied on the secrecy of a brother to form these revolutions?
yeah.
Sure.
Hey, we got a toast in order. PSK Auto. What's up, y'all? Mike from Dallas 231, Pittsburgh. Got my FC Thursday.
Oh, congratulations, brother.
Blitzburg.
Do we want to fill up that
Yeah,
Canadian?
we're gonna
Ron
have to.
Francis.
Or, oh, I'm sorry, I said Canadian. Do we want to fill
Yeah,
up
this
the
is from
Wyoming?
Take a little bit of that.
Yeah, throw that down here, Joe.
Joe's hitting his monster
PSK
energy pretty
Auto.
hard there.
Congratulations. Little bit. Tried poisoning me last time,
Oh,
you
shut up.
bitch. You and Rafferty trying to
It's
poison
normal
me.
size shot for everybody else. You're just small.
I didn't get here early and wash these cannons either, so God knows what.
PSK Auto. Congratulations on your FC.
Yes, sir.
Ken, you haven't let it. Lead it.
That's true. Brothers, right hand to arms.
To arms.
Ready.
Ready.
Aim.
Aim.
Fire good fire. Fire all. Together, brethren. Viva, viva, viva. Congratulations, brother.
Congratulations. Let us know when you make your MM. We're always curious about that. We like hearing that type of stuff. All right, so let me continue on here. Burrell, in short, was the world's first conspiracy theorist. All right. Since then, the Freemasons have been blamed for the murder of Mozart. Mozart
No.
was murdered?
He was a Mason.
I don't
He was
remember.
a Mason.
He was a Mason.
I don't remember that story from anywhere.
I've
No.
never, that's the first
Wow.
time I've heard of it. And Mozart was a Mason. Like the magic flute has all kinds of
Mozart
Masonic
was a
symbolism.
Mason.
Yep.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
And he
Okay.
never did anything,
Hold
as far
on.
as I know,
False.
that would, yeah.
The outbreak of the Russian Revolution.
That could have happened.
No. God, no. Here's why. Because
I'm
there was.
just-
Oh, you're being okay. You're being
Yeah.
facetious. Okay.
Yeah.
Because the Russian, or the Soviets, or excuse me, the communists did not like. There was no masonry.
No,
at that-
you weren't allowed.
No, you weren't allowed. They didn't.
Well, part of communism is
Communism
no
doesn't allow
religion.
sec-
There's no God.
Right.
It's an atheist organization by definition, and as we all know, the first ticket into being a Freemason is having a belief in
Yeah.
a higher power.
But not only that, but communist regimes do not like or do not want secret societies that they could believe
That
that
they
there
can't
could
control.
be that they
Right.
can't control.
Yeah, I think that's a sidebar, though, right? Like, they just don't want... I mean, it's not jurisdictional that you have to believe in a higher power to be a Freemason. That's worldwide,
That's universal, right?
right? That's one of the major... That's one of the most important landmarks of Freemasonry, so there's no way that they would allow that.
And then the last one he has here is, and cover up the inquiry into the sinking of the Titanic among a host of other nefarious.
What
I've
in
never heard that before. The covering up of the sinking of the Titanic?
That's... I'd love to hear what his source is on that. I'm going to have to Google it later and
This
see
is
if it even...
This right
exists.
here is called shoveling bullshit, because it's just you're throwing things out there with no backup.
I don't think the people... I can't think
And I
of
mean,
anybody
could the chick just slide over? She was on the board. Poor Jack sitting there, like, freezing his ass off.
No, we're not talking about the
couldn't
movie.
just slide over.
That's not
just
accurate.
a
That's
smidge.
not-
That's not the actual...
That didn't happen.
That's
She
it's all
couldn't
story.
slide over. Just a smidge.
It was a movie,
A
George.
smidge.
George, it wasn't
It
reality.
still pisses me off nonetheless. Slide over. You have this big giant board.
I'm the king of the world. Yeah, we're not going to be able to talk him down off this.
should have known when. I mean, he did her in the back of a car. Moving on.
Like the first car, too.
Conspiracy
It's like the
thinking.
Port Jeff Ferry, only different. Oh!
Moving on. Conspiracy thinking drove Mussolini, Hitler, and Franco to crush the craft. This is true.
James Franco?
They didn't crush the craft. They tried like hell. Not James Franco. Today, Freemasonry is banned in China and everywhere in the Muslim world except Lebanon and
China.
Morocco. We know that because we have a brother from Lebanon
Yeah, they're actually...
who shouts out quite frequently on this.
I don't think that's entirely accurate. I think there are a couple other countries and Grand Lodges in exile.
Yeah.
In some of the
Iran.
Muslim countries, but
Iran.
the communist countries, absolutely.
Yep.
You're not going to find a Masonic Lodge in North Korea.
Which is shitty.
I mean, who knows? There may be some underground, but none of us would know about that.
And if we were like good at revolutions and things like that, somebody would have taken out who was it, Kim Sung Il or Kim Jong
Kim
Un,
Jong-un.
I mean,
whichever one is in there right now.
that's a good point.
Hey, do you know he's tried to fire missiles in the air and they keep falling out of the sky, right? It's called projectile dysfunction.
Oh my god!
Joe's face made it all the better.
And I come up with some
Anyway.
really bad jokes. That was awful. That was awful.
Great joke, Dad.
The charter of Hamas describes... Shut up! The charter of Hamas describes Freemasonry as a network of spies created... Oh, my God. Network... Oh, hold on. Created by the Jews to destroy societies and promote the Zionist cause. Oh, my God. We're a network of spies. Could you imagine Messner being a spy?
Yeah.
Or Rocco?
We're really 95% of my brothers. I can't imagine any of them being
Oh, my God.
intelligence agents of any kind.
Oh, God.
So is he listing out conspiracy theories at this point, or is he?
I
like,
think he's just throwing anything in there to make a freaking story, personally. Freemasonry secrecy, Freemasonry secrecy, which gives these feverish imaginings free play, is like the water at the bottom of the well. The men who built the well know how deep it is. The rest of us can only peer down and wonder what might lurk below while the dark surface mirrors back our fears. Ask the Freemasons today about secrecy and you will receive a pat response. We are not a society.
and possibly a gold-toned Freemason podcast.
Or maybe an accurate
And
response.
this is what Joe said 2 seconds ago. We are not a secret society. They will say that we are a society with secrets. A committee deep in the bowels of some Grand Lodge or other evidently thought that this formula would put the issue to rest. But of course, even moderately skeptical non-Masons will still wonder. What secrets? What are they hiding? A whole expose genre claims to provide the answers that the Masons seem reluctant to hand over. Because there's nothing to hand over.
Yeah. And
really
even if you knew,
There's
really is.
nothing.
even if you knew, you wouldn't understand it anyway.
It's all freaking allegory.
Right.
Except for the 33rd. We don't know about that, and Jack wouldn't talk.
Yeah. So we can't tell you anything about the 33rd degree.
Again, no. I'm a sublime prince of the royal secret.
As
I'm
am
a
I.
32nd.
As am I.
Yeah, as is you. As are you.
That's different.
We're also me. Kenner Knights Templars. I'm also a Knight Crusader of the Cross and Akon and all this other stuff. Like, you would have heard something.
Yeah, and we're
You
obviously...
would have heard something. You would have caught
Right,
it.
because they can't keep secrets.
All it does...
Somebody would have said, hey, I'm not supposed to say anything, but...
Right.
There's 33rds you take to the bar and be like, hey, man, come on.
Yeah.
Spill
I mean, we're related to a lot
I'll
of them.
tell you what else you want to know. What do you want to know? Like,
Well, that paints us in a bad light.
it does paint us in a bad... My point is,
But
though,
yes, you would
is
know.
all of the different bodies that you would hear, you would have heard
There's too
something.
many people involved
Yeah.
for somebody to not say anything.
If we were
look at-
hiding aliens, you would know.
Yeah, I mean, look at anything that's out there. You have enough people with knowledge of it,
Right.
it leaks out eventually.
I mean, Rocco would sell his soul for his Annie bar. Just throwing it out there. Like,
A what?
never mind. Xanax.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
Anyway, moving on. Yeah, the Masons' notorious secrets have never actually been all that secret. Thank you, Dickie. Now you're doing a good job here. The first expose dates back in 1730. Today, a couple of minutes on Google, and is all it takes to find out everything you might want to know. Now, see, you know what, Dickie? You're
now you like the guy.
I'm just saying. He's
5 minutes ago you hated him.
He's very
but
fickle.
now he's okay.
You know what?
You're
though?
right. He's very sensitive and fickle.
I'm not
You're
sensitive
fickle.
and
You're
fickle.
very
He's
particular.
bringing- I'm good. I got.
You're very particular.
I'm very
Particular.
Ken. I'm very loyal. You look what I did there, huh? Corny.
Remember that time we had the larceny whiskey up here?
Yes, and you kept making comments about something.
Said no such thing. It's not like somebody stole our ideas and we bought a bottle of whiskey just after it, just to prove a point. That
Did
never
it
happened.
grind your gears?
It ground my gears.
I love Ken's face. It makes it all the better. Anyway,
Which is why our table's rectangular.
That's a good point.
You like that one?
boy, you are on your shit today, and I love it.
That's what happens when I get a little punchy.
When he's tired.
When I get
gets,
dehydrated after running 10
When you get a
miles.
little whiskey, it makes you frisky.
It's the Wyoming whiskey.
That's probably what it is, yeah.
So let's move on here. Let's finish this article. Let's see here.
Strippers, what?
Strip away all the protocol, and we find what Masonic secrecy is multifaceted. It is both more and less than what Google results will tell. During his initiation rites, a Mason learns many secrets, such as the strange handshake. It's a handshake. I don't know if it's strange. Whatever. That vouches for his Masonic status. This is true. It's called a grip.
See, but this is where, you remember on, I forget if it was last episode or 2 episodes ago, we got into the definition of Freemasonry and how they used that word particular and how it was different.
peculiar.
Or peculiar.
Yep.
So he may have read somewhere
God, I got it in my
peculiar
mouth.
handshake,
You're fine.
and which modern day definition peculiar could mean strange, and he's making that
Yes.
assumption there. A real quick comment from Brother Lee Musikoff. They're hiding. They're not hiding. They are in plain sight, much like his back hair.
God, yeah.
I had to.
That's shitty. You took a freaking Discord shot at him.
What?
Nicely done, Joe.
Have you seen him?
Probably nicely
He looks
done.
like a freaking Monchichi.
Looks like a Yeti.
The symbols.
But we love him. We love him. Though.
Yes, we do. The symbols whose real meanings Masons learn are also secret. Just to make sure. Let me be clear. Certain symbols. I don't think no. Correction. I don't think any of our
I don't
symbols.
think any of the symbols are secret. The meaning
No.
behind them may be
Yep.
secret, or how we interpret.
how we
the
interpret
meaning.
them, I think.
Yeah.
But
I mean, there have been a lot of Masons that have a problem with the square and compasses. Like, we never show
what?
the square and compasses. Whoa.
Oh
oh
Christ!
Christ, freaking
right
new
over
guy
there.
can't take me
That's why
anywhere.
we can't have nice things.
That's why we can't have nice things.
Right, but we had a Grand Master recently who said, I have no problem leaving the square and compasses where they are. There are logos on the back of your car. People fly
Most
flags
worshipful
with a square. And,
Marshall Robinson.
yep, absolutely. And he's 100% right.
You know,
like
not
this,
for nothing.
This logo right here
It's
on
a
the
car
belt,
emblem.
that's the square and compasses. It's okay to have them arranged that way. The entire world knows us by that symbol.
And I think that's when he
Finally,
said,
you can't
"Why do we
craft it
break
up.
them down when we go from labor to refreshment?"
That was
during
the,
middle of
that
laws,
was the
right?
concern. Yeah. So
Right.
I'm not going to go into detail on that one, but it's like,
We'll see.
you can see that symbol and you just see it as, if you're in the profane world, he's a Freemason.
Me and most
That's
worshipful
all.
Marshall have had our disagreements in the past, but he's a pretty he's a pretty level-headed Mason, I think.
He's very good at explaining his points of view on these things, I think.
No, I think he's also a Mason who. This is much. You know, the crazy thing is, I actually think me and him are very similar in multiple things.
No, you're not.
Well, you're putting yourself on a very high pedestal there.
No. I just mean like you compare yourself to.
Would you expect anything else from somebody of his height?
Not at all. Not at all. I was just leaving you.
Can I finish my damn
Sure.
comment?
Yes. Go ahead.
It's a high pedestal.
We had our disagreements based on certain things, but I believe it was misunderstanding. But there are things. Would you say Marshall Robinson, most worshipful Marshall Robinson,
Yep.
past Grandmaster,
Yep.
is somebody that you would want to screw with?
No, not at all.
Why?
I mean, that's because he is a scary gentleman. If he wants to,
He's hardcore.
I'm not going to say why, but he's just
But I would
a
say-
scary gentleman. He's also very common man Mason.
Yes.
But he's
So-
also a
So-
former
and
police
this is-
officer, so he's good
Yeah.
with the gun. So I wouldn't.
That too, yes. Yeah.
But and here's why I'm making the comparison. Would you say that certain things piss him off and he's very vocal about them?
Yes.
Yes, I would say that.
Similar to
You?
Well, you're just always
Yeah, okay,
pissed
fair
off.
enough.
no,
And
I'm
vocal.
not always pissed off.
In that one way, you are very similar to most martial.
But we're also both good Masons.
yeah,
Would
he can also
agree?
read though. He can read. Verifiable.
And he gets along with other past grandmasters.
He's almost the same height as me too.
Oh, you son of a!
Oh, wow.
What?
That was a
What?
cheap shot.
Yeah, I didn't think we were hitting below the belt, but we can go there.
But I'm proud of you. That was a very good one.
You're welcome.
But he's like that. He's the guy who never wants you to call him most worshipful, sir. Right?
Yes.
Like he gets
Right.
irritated by that.
Yep.
He just
Yeah,
wants-
he's one of
a
a
common Mason. That's it.
Jesus Christ!
I gotta find
George.
something else to lean
Don't
this
break
on.
that. I bought that for
Wyoming.
you.
No, he's one of maybe I could say 3 past grandmasters, and I'm only saying 3 that I've physically seen with my own eyes.
Yep.
That'll wear a white apron in a regular Blue Lodge meeting.
Yeah,
Like,
I think
unless
that's
they're
probably.
presenting or unless there's some kind of format, they'll just show up, put a white apron on, sit on the side.
I think that's probably more common than
Mhm.
we think. But yeah, I mean, how many lodges have we been to where a current Grand Master comes in for a fraternal visit or something like that? But yeah, he just takes whatever apron happens to be around. Not wearing the GM apron.
Joe Schultz, I didn't think George could see eye to eye to anyone, even in
Oh,
platform
wow.
shoes.
I just missed that one. Well done, brother.
That's fine. I'll take it. Let's continue with this article. The symbols whose real meanings Mason learn are also secret. Just to make sure, new Masons also have to swear secret, blood-freezing oaths.
Blood freezing?
Freezing? That's interesting terminology.
Tell me I'm reading this right.
No, I'm sure it's blood.
No, blood freezing oath.
Blood-freezing oaths.
That's
Not to betray the secrets they have learned, under no less a penalty. Oh, okay. So he's going heaven. Under no less a penalty than that of having my throat cut across my tongue. And I can read this.
that's
because,
preposterous.
hold on. I can read this because he
You're reading
clearly
the article.
screwed up the. Well, I'm reading the article
Throat
too.
cut.
But he also screwed up how it's actually said. So I'm not.
Well,
in a
he's
sense.
pulling it from one of those exposés, I'm
Yes.
sure.
That of having my throat cut across, my tongue torn out by the root, and my body buried in the sands of the sea at low water mark. Okay. Here, let me just continue with this, okay? Are our obligations somewhat similar as the penalties? Yes. However, the very next line after you take your obligation, in the state of Connecticut anyway, is Freemasonry's continued use of its imprecations alluded to in its ancient obligations is wholly figurative. The only penalty Freemasonry imposes is reprimand, suspension, and expulsion.
And then they wink at you
It's-
3 times.
Frickin' allegory.
I think James Devaney was trying to say Duncan's and not Duggan's, but Duncan's Ritual Monger, I
Yes.
think,
Yeah,
is where
that's
he
out
pulled
there.
this.
Probably
this
where he
from,
pulled it
which
from.
is, yeah, it's an expose.
But again, you're taking it out of context because you don't know what the very next line is.
yeah, and you don't know what the
Because we're
Greg
before and
Schultz.
after
Because we're
degree
secret.
is.
Greg Schultz, cards getting pulled in 3, 2, 1. No, but again,
I was about to just reach down here and shut the computer.
first off, what Mr. Dickey said.
Now you're back to hating Dickie.
No, I'm not back to hating
Sounds
Dickey.
like you're back to hating Dickie.
But what I'm saying is,
So you love Dickie?
don't put it. Seriously,
What?
actually, it was pretty funny. My old car, I kept blowing the transmission on it, and I had a coworker who actually wrote in pen on the side of the transmission that I was putting in, "George loves trannies." I thought that was pretty funny. But So let me continue baback on this.
Circling the drain now.
I just want to be clear.
Joe's got his face on the microphone. That's how you know he's done. He's like,
Just want to be clear. First off, he screwed that up. He pulled that out of Duncan's ritual monitor or whatever.
Yep.
1. And 2, he didn't have the wording right. 3rd, there is a line after that. George, oh
yes.
God, freaking Joseph.
Well, there's a whole bunch of ritual before and after that. So
There's a whole bunch of ritual. You're taking an excerpt of something like kind of what they do with freaking Morals and Dogma when they're talking about him talking about Lucifer. Believe it not.
Well,
you're taking one line out of an
easy.
entirety of the thing.
I mean, it's an easy, typical kind of like device that journalists will use, right? They do it in political reporting as well. They'll take one little, snippet of a sentence out of context, and now the person looks like the damn devil, right? Like it's typical.
So I'm going to just continue with this article, and then we'll wrap it up. So Masonic rituals consist of secrets wrapped in secrets wrapped in secrets. No. Wrong.
Wrapped in
Once the wrapping is removed, what is revealed are moral principles of utterly disarming banality. Whatever that word is.
Banality?
Banality.
It means like it's the act of being banal.
I still don't know what the fuck you're talking about there.
Like
the same derivative,
I don't know what you're
same
talking
root
about.
as benign?
No.
Okay.
Banal is like,
Be a nice fellow.
Boring.
Learn more about the world. Remember that death puts things in perspective. The great secrets of Freemasonry are all motherhood and apple pie.
All right, so you're saying, hey, there's nothing crazy
Yeah, there's
about
nothing
their
crazy
secrets
there.
there.
All right,
All right.
you're redeeming
So
yourself.
now you
a
like
little
him
bit.
again, see?
I don't like
so-
him.
Yeah.
I still think he's.
you're so
I
hot
get
and
what he's
cold
doing.
on Dickie. You're so hot
I
and
am
cold.
hot and cold. I'm lukewarm.
he's
Here's why.
stoking
Because
the fire.
He basically went in there. So I get what he's doing. He's trying to do flair for the article, so that people are like, ooh, and then at the end you're like, oh.
And then, by the way, they're just a bunch of guys getting together eating
You're
green
trying to-
beans. And
It's
going to church.
journalistic clickbait, if you will.
Yep.
Is that really all there is to it? Even many years early, craftsmen were underwhelmed and formed new versions of the Brotherhood to protect the proper secrets, like a cure for an old age or the formula for turning base metal into gold. I would love to do a podcast about that.
Now he's alluding to like alchemy and stuff.
Yes.
That's really
Others sought to fill the secrecy void with the utopian politics. Both the Illuminati of Bavaria
Illuminati.
and the charcoal burners of Italy were variants of Masonry that offered initiation into a revolutionary plan. Now, I'm curious about what the charcoal burners
I've never heard of
Italy.
the charcoal.
I'm gonna have to look
burners.
that up.
Write that shit down, Ken.
You got it.
Or
He
just
just
put
in
it
the
on
memory
your
banks.
save
no, it's
drive in
already
your head.
entered into my like long-term memory here. My backup
Podcast
system.
log,
Oh.
7/23,
Yeah,
2021.
Exactly.
They were
George
all-
mentioned something called charcoal burners today. Okay, go on. Sorry.
Spelled on myself.
Of course you did.
They were all missing the point. Masonic secrecy is not a way of hiding anything at all. It is the wrapping, and not what contains is the key. Secrecy is a way of enveloping bonds of fellowship and solemnity and sacredness, born during the Enlightenment when the grip of the religious orthodoxy on private... See, he's getting a little nuts here. I'm just going to... Well, pretty much at the end here. Secrecy is a way of enveloping bonds of fellowship in solemnity and sacredness, born during the Enlightenment when the grip of religious orthodoxy on a private and public life was beginning to be relaxed. Freemasonry offered a passage into a more secular world. It was a halfway house. Its secrecy made it like a religion without containing any dangerous theological ideas. I will agree with that.
Yeah. No, that's. I think that's true.
The first Freemasons could hardly have predicted the global shaggy dog story success and notoriety that they would generate. The lessons of their fascinating history is simple. Make yourself misunderstood. John Dickey is the author of The Craft, How the Freemasons Made the Modern World.
Right, but he's not a Mason. I mean, is he?
I don't know.
Because I don't think any self-respecting Mason would have penned the fraternity in that light in that article, but
All right, so
tough to write a book about Freemasonry if you're not a Freemason. I was going to say that.
then again, Dan Brown did.
Well, I mean,
Well,
it's a
work of
fiction, right? We're talking about like if this dude's doing some
No,
kind
okay,
of
it may be a work of fiction. However, he did his
non-fiction
homework.
historical account. You should probably be a Mason.
Again, Dan
no one will
Brown
take you
was not a
seriously.
Mason when he wrote his book,
He still isn't.
but he did his homework. Yes, he is.
Dan Brown is?
Yes, he is.
Oh, okay. Well, that must have
He
been.
took his
super
degrees
recent.
after he wrote the book.
Did he really? Because I remember an interview with him saying that he wouldn't become a Mason because he wouldn't be able to write books like this anymore.
Oh, maybe
Because
I'm
he
wrong.
knows
I
it.
could have swore he took his degrees.
I mean, it may have been after I read that article that he became a Mason, but
Hashtag,
Hey, if anybody knows,
hashtag Scott Walter greater than Dan Brown.
we got to have him back up here again.
yep.
And Art and Pat Militich. All three of them have said to me personally they want to come play around again.
Yeah, it's been a time. The whole COVID thing kind of threw everything to the wind. For a
Maybe
bit there,
Pat
but
could try to take the belt from me. How about that?
So
now that would be. I would watch that.
Oh, I would pay money for that. Do you remember a while ago when we talked about taking a punch from Tyson? Long time ago in the
Yeah.
beginning. You know what else we haven't talked about in a while?
Talked about fighting a
boxing
kangaroo.
match. No, there was the boxing
Kangaroo.
match between you and Collins. There, that never happened.
that's recent news. You know
Yeah,
the other thing?
somebody just brought it up in
That
the
somebody
comment
brought
trail
up-
a minute ago. Like,
You know what's something else that somebody brought up to me that I totally forgot about? My hatred for chili cook-offs.
oh yeah, that's
That
true.
came
All
up.
about that.
Josh Mantello mentioned that that's the only true Masonic conspiracy is who won that chili
Yeah,
cook-off.
and it's also not chili season yet, so I'm sure that'll come back up again.
I won. Damn it.
We know.
I freaking won.
Yeah, we know, Joe.
James Levaney, Dan
good
Brown
chili.
is not a Mason. Okay, cool. I misunderstood that. I could have swore he did. Joe versus George in a WWE style match for charity.
Only if
Yeah.
I get to wear a mask.
I know where my money's
I've always
going.
really liked the mask wrestling.
Don't we have a lucha libre mask?
Yes, we do.
back there?
Yes, we do. I have.
And you got a belt.
Yes.
Bam. This
I'm
is
in.
happening.
I'll wrestle you.
This is gonna be awesome. I can't wait. I'll be the ref.
God.
I'll be the ref that keeps getting hit by chairs and like going unconscious while you guys are beating each other illegally.
We got to wear the old school headgear though.
Yes.
Nobody needs a cauliflower
See,
ear.
here's the
That's
thing.
true. That's true.
I like gangrene, which is why I don't know if I want to fight Danny, because if I beat him, it'll ruin the whole group. It'll just
So it's like a
All right, so there's another challenge on the table here. You want to wrestle?
it's like a band of brothers. What would never put yourself in a position to take from these men? Is it one of those things?
We could clear out the altar in the center of the
military?
room, put down a rubber mat. We're good to go.
So what do we think?
Put you in a cobra clutch.
What do we think about masonry and secrecy in this little article that was written? I think
I don't think it's as prevalent as the kind of common public view of masonry paints it to be.
I get what he's doing. He's taking a bunch of things that happened in history that
clicks.
make us notorious in order to make a story.
He's using us to get clicks. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, it's clickbait.
Joseph Schultz.
If you really wanna
GG
find
cheats,
out-
he won't lose.
Ask a Mason. All you got to do is ask a Mason.
To be one, ask one.
Yeah, that's
I
absolutely
would
right.
say PM right worshipful brother George over here, but he doesn't have a Facebook account anymore.
Oh.
They have
But you can
Twitter.
ask a question.
No, I
on
still
our
get.
Facebook.
I still get all the messages.
we
Oh, okay.
have Twitter.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And yes, we still get all the messages.
Yeah,
So-
I still answer all the messages on Facebook. It's just the linking of my personal account
Instagram to-
because I'm an admin or whatever. Yeah, I'm not doing.
Which,
But
by
we-
the way, if you have anything you want us to talk about, again, we just kind of proved it just a minute ago that if you reach out and say, hey, I want to hear about this, we will address it.
Yeah,
We'll
there is an
talk about
answers
it.
section on our Facebook page. You can, reach out to us directly on Twitter. You can send us a PM on Instagram. Send us a message on Instagram if you don't want to make it public, and we will we'll talk about it.
Yeah,
We might even do an episode on it.
Yeah.
if you're cool with it.
Remember back on like the Ed Sullivan show and stuff, they used to have somebody come in and like wrestle a bear. We can bring Lee up.
Yeah. So it's going to be like
So
you
we
versus
We can
Lee.
bring Lee
You know
up.
what I've been watching
Well,
a
like
lot of?
Yeah, he's like a bear.
I've been
I see where you're going with this. I like it.
I've been watching a lot of the Man of the Hour, which is back in like the 1980s. It was the Dean Martin show. They did the Man of the Hour, which ended up becoming Comedy Central roast so and so.
That had to be earlier than the 80s.
Maybe it was
Yeah.
the 70s.
Yeah, probably
Ronald
70s
Reagan was governor
of California.
of California.
70s.
So
70s,
70s.
yeah.
Yeah, because he became president in 80, right?
Yes.
He was 80 through 88. So yeah, it had to be
You were like,
late 60s,
what?
early 70s.
Just getting out of college?
In 80s? In 1980, I was 8 years old.
He had his first child. Then.
We're gonna need to have. We're gonna have to have proof of this.
I can't freaking wait to slap you in a figure 4 and make you cry. You don't understand. Not only do I have a physical prowess about me, but I've been watching professional wrestling since 1982. I am a historian of the sweet science of professional wrestling. I will. Listen,
Joe. I would have no problem with you putting the figure 4 on me, but I don't want you to break your hip.
Bring it on, man. I'll go Cobra Clutch, crossface chicken wing.
I got to find
Texas
a ref.
Drink your KO Pactate beforehand.
That's all right, man. No, I won't. This way I'll give you like the Rikishi in the corner.
Drink your insurer.
I'll get my Metamucil on you. That'll be my finishing move. It'll call the Metamucil.
Greg Schultz, 200th episode. And do we have any ideas?
If they want the wrestling match.
the wrestling match, I think, is what they're alluding to here.
Is that what they're...
I'm going to have to go out and buy a singlet.
Oh, God.
All I got to do is find a ref outfit. I think I can.
Just get a white T-shirt and paint black stripes on it. It'll be fine.
Yeah,
we will come up with something. We'll come up with something for the
We always do. It's gonna.
We
be
always
epic,
do,
yeah.
and it's usually epic. We had the Christmas stuff that we did with Ken, Uncle Ken, reading the
Good old Uncle Cyborg Ken.
We could pull a Jackass kind of thing. Remember they used to have the guy chasing him around the corner in diapers and stuff?
Yes.
You and I will just start a wrestling match, like downstairs in front of Jimmy's on the sidewalk.
And
Yeah,
we'll just
so you
do
hear-
reaction shots.
And
of
all of a sudden you hear,
everybody on the street. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah, and then we'll run like hell.
Oh, let's see more police.
Sanctuary! We'll run up to this.
Then the Asian lady,
We'll run up and grab the horns.
They'll be like,
Uber.
"What the hell are you doing?" Get in
the
back
Asian
of
lady
police
from the
here.
nail salon will come after. I think I've told this story online where she was yelling or online on live where she was like, she'll come flying up the door and be like, "Kick his ass! You beat his ass, Ginger! You kick him!"
Because you guys are directly above her.
She might be
salon.
my...
Chase away my customers. She was mad as shit when we were doing construction up here.
What are you gonna do? I mean, you probably should have handled that a little bit better and asked her ahead of time. Hey, are there certain hours where we should be doing this where we're not bothering your customers? That would be the Masonic thing to do.
I wasn't the one doing construction.
Yeah, and also you didn't know.
I didn't
she was
know.
open, so
You didn't know.
whatever.
Anyway, what do you say, brothers? Shut it down.
Yeah.
Shut it down.
Thank you all for tuning in.
There's going to be
Again,
a lot of
please
wrestling memes tonight. I
like,
think.
Oh, hell yes.
subscribe, comment. If you comment, even after we're not live, I
We'll still
always
see 'em, yeah.
respond.
Yep.
If you want anything you want to hear, any comments you want to make, we're here.
But you can message us on Facebook.
And honest to God, depending on, I don't care how big we get. Like if we have over 1,000 or 1,000,000 subscribers at some point, I will make damn sure that I comment and interact, and we comment and interact with every single person who messaged us and asked us.
To the best of our ability.
To a best of our ability, we'll make it a point to do it.
So help me God.
If within the length of my cable.
For the
Some are
Freemasons
longer
pod.
than others.
That's right.
Seriously.
You know it. Hey, man, Wyoming whiskey makes
Wyoming,
me feel
hey,
good.
it worked.
God.
As advertised.
For the Freemasons podcast, I am Right Worshipful Brother George Marjorie signing off.
Worshipful Brother Joe signing off.
And Worshipful Brother Ken signing off.
Have a good night, everyone.
Night, my friend.